All right, folks. All right, folks. Gather around. And see. And before we get started, as always,
I'm done. I'm done with life, and it's all Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault. I'm done.
all right. Now we know that it's all Jermaine's fault. We got it out of the way. This is just kind of like a drop in a little bit for the complaint department. And most times I try to ignore this crap, but some people are persistent. And they keep saying the same message over and over again. And they keep clipping me into their video, okay? Saying negative stuff. So that means that's the cry for attention. So today we're going to give him attention live and in living color. I'll try to get through as much of this bullshit as I can. So there's really nothing on the docket. Let me see if I can find the video. All right. Let's pause it a little bit. But let me welcome some people before I get started. LB, Toya, AB Media. Okay, you might have to beam some people out. Emergency beam out. Vince, Stillman, I'm here for the work after classes, hosted by the master teacher. And it's probably not going to be a class, just more to address some points. Got some cleanup business. Chemistry, what's up? Darkness, what's up? Simeon, what's up? Cool Gamer, what's up? Marshawn, Snowman. If you got something to drop into the chat, Slowman, go ahead and do so. Rise, Hurricane, Titan, Tall, Lavaris, Detroit, Dr. Detroit, Ron Brown, Marcus, High Scholar. I was gonna say High Scholar. Um, I need you. We need to highlight your channel. Okay, I think this is Paradox. What's good? It's nothing. I'm just addressing some points. So it might be positive, maybe negative. So I'm gonna react to the brother's video since he says he's got some valid complaints. I haven't heard any yet, but we'll give him a shot. So this is probably not going to be probably not going to have a panel. I don't know how long this one will last, so it may not last a whole hour. This is not a normal black pill. Oh, okay. Appreciate you, man. Every voice counts. So I don't know if you're ready for me to promote your channel or not. If you're not, just say so. If you are, we'll try to get it done. And yeah, get you on the way. In fact, let me go ahead and give you a wrench in case you want to go ahead and pimp your own channel. I appreciate your word about the about especially about black boys in school and the effects and the culture that's affecting black boys because it hasn't gotten better, man. It's been we've read the Mohawk Conference of 1890 where they said black men didn't need to know how to read and didn't need education past the fifth grade. And I'm not saying it's just as bad, but saying the sentiment about black boys' education is almost as bad, and we don't even know where it comes from. We keep passing this culture forward, a generation after generation, and nobody says shit. And when you point it out, people get pissed because they don't want to give up their worldview. But let me go ahead and get this started. It's Paradox. What's up, Paradox? Let me go ahead and give you a wrench. I gave DC a wrench, so let me go ahead and give you a wrench. You can pimp your channel if you so desire. All right, let's go. Let me go ahead and pull this up. And this will be Truth as I Know It. And I think the video is preparing black men that are taught to be unprepared. Okay. And see what he has to say. Hopefully it's productive, you know. Hopefully it's productive, as Paradox would say. Hope this shit is productive. All right. As always, check one if you guys can hear this.
Are unprepared to deal with women.
Okay. Check one if you guys can hear this. He's not the best YouTuber, so a lot of his stuff is kind of rough. So bear with him. He says his message is important because he keeps trying to pimp it and go all over the place trying to promote it. So just like anybody else, I'm gonna give a fair hearing. If he's in the chat, you know, I can't quite see him. So if he's in the chat, I'll pop a link into the chat a little later. So if he's viewing, he can actually come up and defend himself. So, but here we go. Go back a little bit. Just a wee bit. All right.
Spurred by conversation, spurred by many different conversations I've been hearing throughout the manosphere. But before I get started, let me know. Give me a 1 in the chat if I sound okay, because, well, hey, I feel like I'm screaming. Let me chill out a little bit. I'm screaming. That's number 1. Number 2, StreamYard keeps messing with the mics and these buttons. And so what they used to means something different. And then when I play the music, I play music differently now. So it's kind of messed up. So it's hard to get it right. Big Cab gave me 1. Okay, I appreciate that. So we see Steve in the East Coast. Oh, man. He's one of my day ones. He will be watching tomorrow. Sheed in the house. Big Cap, the big homies here. Raw L, King Raw L in the house. Welcome, brothers. But we want to talk about speaking strength in the black men, because clearly so many black men are unprepared to deal with women, whether they be black women or non-black women. And I just want to get into this because the black manosphere needs to make a shift, man. It's got to make a shift from shame, blaming, explaining, or simply getting the message out, and instead teaching black men that we have autonomy, that we've got agency.
We've been saying that, man. We've been saying that since day one. So I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about, okay? We've been saying that from day one. Now, I don't know what he hears. You know what? I'm getting tired of people, but not, instead of listening to what you're actually saying, hearing what they want to hear and then remixing it, because I'm getting kind of tired of that. But let's give him a fair hearing. Let's go ahead and play this before I actually chop it up too much.
And we've got that in a myriad of areas in life, including when it comes to our careers, when it comes to our families, when it comes to our travel, the way we treat ourselves, the way we love ourselves. Many of our own issues, not all, but many of them come from a self-limiting mindset. And I think the black manosphere does that. I think the black manosphere limits black men in the way we think, especially when it comes to women. And I want to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt using some of the black manosphere's favorite content creators' own voices as they talk about this this elephant that's on the rope. Sheep had a video about this where he talked about how, you train the elephant, you put a baby elephant on the rope, and then as that elephant grows, he won't leave that rope. He doesn't even know he's strong enough to tug the rope. Now, I'm not sure if that's true or not. That sounds like BS, but that's what they say. That's what.
He may be a clown, but we're gonna give him a fair hearing. Okay, we'll give him a fair hearing. Okay, and I know it's bullshit. Because I got whole series about stuff about telling men how to vet women and how to go beyond women. We got Passport OG that talks about going overseas. In fact, we got 2 Black Mind, Passport OG, a bunch of others that talk about going overseas. I've been with SYSBM since I first came in. Okay. my first thing is teach black men to center themselves first. But we just went over the esoteric series. Guess what? Guess what they never go over, right? Guess what he never comments on? The esoteric series when I'm actually teaching men about themselves, those never get included in the commentary. Do they? Do they? Those never get taught. Those never get highlighted. Anyway, continuing.
What they say. I haven't talked to Elephant Trainer to verify that, but let's just hop into it. So let me just play this clip for you right here. Give me a moment. I'm going to pull this down and I'm going to play this video and let's just hop into it. Let's get to it.
Put their sons out at 13, 14 years old.
Well, I've seen women call police on their kids, and the kids is 8. My mom threatened to call the police on me when I was 9, 10 years old. She worked for the juvenile system in the state of St. Louis. I mean, in the city of St. Louis.
There's only two ways out of this, honestly, if we're talking about mate selection. And one way is the way that got everybody riled up, which is choosing out of a different pot, right? The second way is choosing somebody who has been rejected by this same pot that we're all in here as FBA. So those are I hope niggas really realize that those are the only two options. And what this really means, it's a really extreme thing, but this is how contaminated shit is. You're either going to have to go get a whole nother bowl and you dip in a whole nother motherfucking pot for some whole different mix of soup altogether, right? And that's going to have its own, trials and tribulations, all that shit that come with it, but it won't be the same flavor as this shit.
Yeah.
Or you're going to have to look at all the ingredients that wasn't added to this mix right here, all the shit that motherfuckers decided to leave out. So the girls who were rejected for whatever the fuck reason that was, she can't twerk, she's into some obscure shit that the masses aren't into, she's not mainstream. That's literally the only option if you don't want to deal with plantation politics.
But she's still infected with the disease, though. She still carries it. It can be activated. You have a better chance. It's dormant, but you have a better chance at it, though.
Okay, so let's start with what Green Gorilla first started saying. He started off saying that there's these black mothers that are out here.
See, that's the whole thing. He plays a very partial clip. Okay, he could have played the whole video from the very beginning. Okay, when we're actually talking about it, actually frame it. Okay, but he's actually playing very partial clips about something, right? When somebody is actually telling a story, they actually highlight something that he hasn't referenced. That's called propaganda. That's called very bad propaganda. This is like propaganda from the 1920s. And it's one thing if you want to complain about the black manosphere and what it doesn't do, but the thing is, guess what you just did? Guess what you just did? Which is a dirty trick, but we'll continue. And now he's going to try to explain a Rush Limbaugh like about this clip, about what Green Gorilla said about black mothers and how they treated. The thing is, he never went into why this whole conversation came up.
That'll call the cops on their own children for little to no reason. And when he said that, I go, man, that's the same. That happened to him. That happened to me too. My mom would do wild shit, right? Because she had borderline personality. No, she has borderline personality disorder.
See, she has borderline personality disorder. But Green Gorilla is making shit up, isn't he? It doesn't happen. It doesn't affect you. So basically, picking out of another pot, picking a different woman, going to another country is not going to help you understand what you went through as a child, will it? Or what your sisters do, or what your mother does, or how men in your family react, will it? I think High Scholar would and Dr. Maggie would call it shadow work. It's what you go to a shrink for.
And part of her mental health issue is that it's this love-hate relationship with people, including me. So she would do things like kick me out of the house for no reason and then tell me, I'm going to call the cops on you and say you're a runaway. So if they find you, they're going to pick you up as a runaway so you can't do anything. I'm like, what kind of bullshit is that anyways? Like, I try to avoid.
White women do it too. It's not just black women, okay? Other women in other cultures have different ways of handling things. So anyway, let's continue, man. Because like I said, before I get irritated, I'm actually going to try to play as much of this as I can of my portion of the way he commented on me.
The cops, hey, but you're gonna call the cops on me for me like making a little bit too much noise or something? You're gonna kick me out at 10 o'clock at night when it's raining on a school night? This is crazy. And this is part of this, I think borderline personality disorder and for sure cluster B personality disorders have been woven into the ADOS community. They've been woven into the gynocracy. Like when we talk about the gynocracy, that's a culture of cluster B.
Where do you think you got the name the gynocracy from? Where do you think you got the name gynocracy from? Okay. Cluster B, anyway, let me continue, man, because we go in on this.
Just read the criteria. It's right there. It's right there in your DSM manuals. And then so Grinch goes, the solution of this is either picking women from a different tribe, he said, like a different pool of women, or you pick women that have been rejected by the gynocracy. And I think that we all know this to be true, because this is most certainly true, where if you want a quality woman for yourself, then you got to get one who's healthy-minded, who wants a loving, nurturing, and fulfilling family. So she can't be a woman, she can't be gynocratic. She can't be broken from a different tribe either. And so he also said that there's women who get rejected who are, ADOS, who were African American Black women, but they've been rejected by the gynocracy, so they're not really acculturated within the gynocracy, so they stay off that
there's even if they get rejected by the gynocracy, they're still acculturated by the gynocracy because they were raised. And when you add feminism into it, modern day feminism into it, which is getting almost as bad as the gynocracy, guess what? You still have a problem. The divorce rates for white women are rising just almost as much as the black ones. Okay.
So they're more likely to be a family building warrior. That's a phrase I like to use, and that's a phrase I would like other.
You guys, I don't mind you guys typing stuff, but the thing is, if you're not here for the subject, then this might not be the place for you. So this is not a session. I don't mind you guys talking amongst each other, but try to stay on topic, okay?
Other black men to use too, because when we talk about preparing black men, you have to know what you want. And if you want a woman in your life, whether a girlfriend, a wife, a partner, significant other, however you want a full-time loving woman in your life, you should probably tell women that you want a family building warrior, even if you don't want children, even if you don't want marriage, because two people can become one and you don't have to sign that paperwork. But when she knows what you want, then their mind starts to work. He goes, well, he wants a family building warrior. Well, damn, what's the opposite of that? That's a family destroying woman. Now, which one are you? You a family builder or you a family destroyer? Now she starts to hear what you require in your life.
I just went over that in the esoteric feminine. In fact, I went over a whole week of vetting women and what you should want by class, by class, hey, by astrology sign, by knowing who you are, by how to vet her. Okay, but thing is that doesn't get mentioned. But he picks this small little clip to actually emphasize his point because you're damaged. He still hasn't gotten fixed from when his mother damaged him. That's the problem. Dipping in another pool. How many times have we talked about dipping into another pool, going outside the country, going out to another culture. And why you need to go to another culture? Why? Because they don't raise wives in America anymore. So because she's a family building warrior, probably before you actually ask her all those questions, you probably should do what? Find out what her family background is first. You know, does she know how to cook, clean? Has she been trained to be a wife first? But the thing is, we'll see if that comes up, because that hasn't come up yet, because he hasn't described it. But at least one thing I do agree with him says you got to know what you want first. Got to know what you want first. And some guys don't want a family. Okay. Some guys want a partner. Depends on what you want. Sometimes you want a woman that's going to help you run a corporation. Every woman is not designed for everything, and every man doesn't have the same desire. Okay. Anyway, continuing. We'll play a few more minutes of this.
Either she's going to meet your requirements or she's not, but you want to make that very clear. And so,
Nemesis, when I finish with this, we'll go over it. Trust and believe, man. I can make more money doing Jungian psychology and astrology than I can here talking to you. But Nemesis, if you're still here, I'll drop the link. You can come up and you can try it for yourself. All right.
if a woman who's not from the gynocracy, like I was at the zoo, I went to the zoo, and it was hot. It started raining. It was like 104 degrees. It started raining in Washington, D.C. I was at the Federal Zoo in Washington, D.C. And on the way in, I noticed that there's these black folks that were flagging the road. So stop at this sign, pulling traffic across the street. And it'd be raining real hard, like these monsoon type weather, hot and raining hard. And it just rained out of nowhere. And, you know, the flaggers, they're all cool people, but you can see, like, you know, a couple tattoos here. You see the weave. And I didn't really notice anything. But then when I got into the zoo and we go on this, you know, walk, and we're seeing all these people, and we get hot, right? So I buy some ice cream. So I buy 5 ice
Let me
creams.
speed this up a little bit.
And there's this woman
You
in
see-
the Ben and Jerry's ice cream truck.
You see why I hate stories? See why I hate stories? Man, can you get to the point? You know, give me this whole, you know, I understand millennials and process writing. They got to give you the whole setup, the whole story, all, you know, the colors in the action instead of getting to the point. But I understand. Play about 10 more minutes of this and then we'll stop, man, because this is like getting on my nerves already. Okay. I should have listened to this before I actually reacted to it, because all I can say is, truth, you got to do better, man. If you want to reach people, you got to do better than this. This is bad.
And she was very beautiful. She was an 8. She's maybe 19 years old, 18, 19 years old, maybe 20. She's in there and she's listening to some like white folks music, right? I thought it was MGMT. I go, was that MGMT you're listening to? She goes, no, this is Tame Impala. I go, yeah, they got slappers, Tame Impala. I said, do you like Mac DeMarco? She goes, she started laughing like, how you know? She started laughing and she goes, yeah, I like him. And I go, oh, you should go check out Cisco Swank Changes. You got a cold cut, man. Go listen to that. She goes, okay, I'm going to play that one next. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to play that next. So she wrote it down. And what I noticed was she was like, for her to listen to Tame Impala and MGMT and just the way she looked and the way she spoke, she wasn't of the gynocracy like the other black women that I saw who were working as flaggers.
In other words, okay, there's a background, okay? There's a background. He's in Portland, right? He grew up in Oregon in a mixed community around white folks, okay? He comes from a slightly different culture. And he's more attuned, you can tell by his voice, he's more attuned to being around mixed people, a mixed environment, right? Mostly white folks. So naturally, he's going to be attracted to whom? Like-minded people. That doesn't mean she's any better, but things he's attracted to people of his ilk, people that is more close to his culture. You know, she's black, just like him. He's black. That doesn't mean you're rejected by the gynocracy, okay? You don't even know this girl. But anyway, continuing.
You can just tell. You can tell just by looking at them, the way they spoke, the way they carried themselves. And I think that's why they put her in the Ben and Jerry's truck, because she'd be more acculturated to deal with people going through the zoo. That's, I look at that as racism, but I think part of it is people who hired her, they're like, oh, you ain't like them over there. And I don't necessarily agree with that, but I could see that firsthand why they.
You just said it. You just said it. You just said it. Anyway, continue. We'll take about 5 more minutes of this, and then I'll open it up for what's his name. Okay.
Would see that, and I think that's what Grinch is saying. Like that woman in that ice cream booth, like you want a woman like that. That don't mean she don't like hip hop. I like MGMT. I like Tame Impala. I like Cisco Swing, but I love gangster rap too. I love soul music. I love all types of music, but I'm well-rounded. I'm professional. I've been impacted by the gynocracy, but I'm not of the gynocracy.
Bullshit. You still complain about it. You are of the gynocracy. Okay. Still are. Still talk about it. Anyway.
And so I could sense that in her myself, and that's what Grinch is talking about. But I'm gonna let him continue.
You're right about that.
But okay, so like take for example, Sandal. Sandal married an African woman, and he now lives in the UAE.
Mm-hmm.
The same place where the bus driver Bay got screamed and got her passport taken away from her to the point where she can't travel back to the US. Okay. Now, I'm saying, even if you get sassy, like it's places that you can locate to and find, and pockets and places that you can go to, right? Where you might be able to build a family and you might have some semblance of control. But in Western culture, we going over this, and I think BGS is going over this as well. The environment is such legally, even if it wasn't socially like this, just say, or historically like this, even just legally. If you marry a white chick, she can break bad on you and do the same shit. She can pull a 10-part on your ass.
And they're starting to do that now. And that's what white guys are complaining about. So they started to contaminate the whole culture. Well, it has contaminated the whole Western culture.
So
you see the response, right? You hear the response. Grinch goes, yo, you got to go get a girl from a different tribe, or a black woman from our tribe, but who's not of the gynocracy. And BGS goes, well, they're all impacted by the gynocracy, so you're really taking your chances. And then Green Gorilla says, well, because of the laws, because of the white man's laws, no matter where you go, the likelihood of you finding a wife for yourself isn't very good. And that's a very...
He's not, he didn't, okay. You see how they remix stuff? He said Western culture. He didn't say any place else in the world. He said Western culture. That's what he said. But the thing is, they don't listen. That's why I can't listen to reactors, right? That's why, I wanted to give him a fair shake. I really want to give him a fair shake. If you're going to critique something, be accurate, okay? Instead of emotional. A lot of cats like this, like I said, blue pill cats like that, are actually react with emotion because of his worldview. He's not really honest with what he's talking about. What Grinch was talking about, even a white woman can break bad on you because of the laws that are in the United States. What's his name? Kevin Costner. It's going to cost Kevin Costner what, a couple $100,000 a month for a white woman that broke bad on him. If you go to the Medium, you see how white men are actually talking about white men. They almost sound like black women. But the thing is, instead of being on YouTube and listening to panels, go read. Go read. I could actually do a whole week of Medium with white women talking about white men, and you think black women talk about their men bad. You ain't heard nothing. Even the married ones. Continue. Get like a couple of more minutes. We're actually going to open it up because we're like, give it like a minute.
Very common sentiment within the black manosphere. I think that it's true to a certain. It's definitely true to a certain extent, but I think that gets over exacerbated. Right? Because there are women out here that can make excellent wives, but I know in my own life, I had to go mine those out. I had to find a different paradigm. Like, we all come into this world through a different portal, through a different paradigm. Our lives are different. Our neighborhoods are different. The people we hang out with are different. The culture that we've been immersed in is different. Well, subcultures at least. And so we may, if I just went to the same places I had always went, I would have never been introduced to different types of women, and women that I could actually see as potential wives that can make great wives. And yes, indeed, there's a lot of non-black women. A lot of white women are off the rails. A lot of them. That's very true. But for BGS to say that the gynocracy infected all these women?
Thing is, we were talking about women that the gynocracy rejected. Okay, but the gynocracy basically has infected all these women because go to my video called "Is There Such Thing as a White Gynocracy?" Even a white woman actually called the United States a matriarchy, a Western matriarchy, because the gynocracy as it sits, right, or the matriarchy as it sits, basically is ran by the state. What you have is a state-run gynocracy right now. Can they bring it back into balance? Perhaps. But right now, all the laws, all the rules, all the money favors who? Women, especially white women. That is a gynocracy. It's the state-run gynocracy. It's not ruled by a woman per se, but it's actually ruled by a gynocratic state that actually favors women and little girls. Your schools, your colleges, your workplace, your laws, your courts are all basically, in fact, infected by what? Gynocratic thinking. Believe all women, where 6 women can actually come up with no proof and accuse a man, get him put in jail. That's gynocratic. The Me Too shit, that's gynocratic. So I have actually evidence that is the case. But that's enough of this, okay? That's enough of this. You know. Anyway, man, it's just a clip. Okay. I gave him a fairer hearing than he gave me. So I'm gonna go ahead and unshare the screen. And we're 31 minutes in. And I'll drop the link, especially for the brother that wants to talk about astrology. I've been doing that astrology shit, man, since 2017, for 6 years, man. That's one of the most asked for things for me to do. In fact, I just had a brother on my Patreon that didn't believe it, didn't like it, didn't believe it, didn't believe it, and all right, come on up. Didn't believe it about astrology and Jungian psychology, and he wanted me to prove it to him. So I said, okay, man, put your details in, and we put his details in. We looked at his chart, start reading. I said, okay, man, is this you? He said, yeah. These are the kind of women that you like. He said, yeah. Are these the kind of women that like you? He said, yeah. And these are your friends that you hang out with, right? Because House 11 is associations. These are the kind of people that you hang out with. He said, yeah. I said, so what don't you believe? If all those questions, the first 3 questions that I asked you, 4 or 5 questions that I asked you, he said, that's you. So what is not to believe? And
I'm
then
not a fan of it.
So what? Huh? So what?
I'm not a fan of it at all. But that's kind of a live and let live. My issue with astrology is really black people. Like a lot of things, black people misuse it. Like game, like a lot of different stuff. We allow ourselves to just, I don't know what it is, because the way the women clearly.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with the way I use it, does it?
No, I know, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying, like, as far as I ain't talking about the dude, as far as my particular stuff with it, like a lot of things, it's misused. It's like it charges up certain actions, and like I said, it's misused.
Okay, yeah, but that has nothing to do with what I said about how I teach men to actually vet themselves and women using Jungian astrology. That's just one tool. That's why I was talking about him.
But it's the same thing with select and non-select. It's the same thing with a lot of different shit.
No, it's not.
What I'm saying is black people take it and they twist it up into some bullshit.
But it was that has nothing to do with what I'm saying about it. Okay, it had nothing to do with what I'm saying about it.
I understand that. Okay, but what I'm saying is universally, it comes back to culture. It's just like what you were saying in the other video. Actually, I just wanted to. I know Green Gorilla wants to get in, but I just want to say something about the video, and then I'm gonna just pop off.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be on here long. I'll let Gigi have it. My issue with Truth, and I say this understanding he's probably gonna use this opportunity to put my name in another video.
Okay.
It's the only way he gets views.
Yeah.
The issue with truth is intent, other than what you were saying, but the thing that wasn't said, his intent.
Mm-hmm.
He has malice intent. He's willing to lie to push his point.
Okay.
And that's really the problem with this space. You got dudes that they believe in something so much, and it's not even about they really believe it, it's their own ego. They put their ego into it. And these are not even dudes that really should be doing that, where I could see them doing that. Because, in general, they're that nigga. So I could see why they would apply that everywhere. It's like, dude. And it's his intent. Just like how he purposely goes through videos and takes things in order to create a certain outcome intent. And doesn't really do the best of job even communicating that from a propaganda standpoint. And in this space, to be red pill is to want the truth. You may not like it, but you have to want it. And it may take you a long time to accept it, but you have to want it. And what we really have is dudes that they want to play this your truth game like the bitches do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yo, what are we doing? And then so that's where a lot of this friction and bullshit really comes from. Is it just comes from this idea of I'm right because I'm me, fuck everything else. And so it's not even so much, it is what he said, like even with the gynocracy shit, like really what it comes down to, he's really saying, well, should be able to find at least one woman, not understanding that we're all technically in this together and you can move something to the extent that it can affect everything. Is this to say don't get married? No, if you want to get married, only thing I'm gonna tell you is you need to get good at vetting and use all the tools available. But if you want to believe, like you want to just believe in the sanctity of marriage and think that shit's gonna carry you away, well, you're a dumb motherfucker. And I'll say it once and then I'll let you fuck. Like, look, I'm the owner of the website fatfo.com. FAFO stands for fuck around and find out. And I'm not gonna keep on saying shit over and over and over again. You will fuck around and find out. But I'll pray it works out for you.
The thing is, the people keep going back to vetting a woman, right? That had nothing to do with vetting a woman. Nothing. Had nothing. None of that whole video was not about vetting a woman.
Well, they just say shit. It's clickbait. They'll say shit to have like a general. I don't like BGS because I need something that sounds credible. BGS don't believe in vetting women because if you just vet, or what Lucas did. Well, if you're a leader, then she has no. I'm like, okay, well then show me a fucking leader that these women submit to.
What I tell Lucas, man, before you come back, get some bass in your voice first, okay? Can't sound like a 10-year-old kid and come here and talk about vetting and being a non-bitch because you start squealing like a bitch, okay? Get some bass in your motherfucking voice.
Well, I mean,
go ahead.
We're black.
It's just an aside. Go ahead.
We're black people from a variety of different, background situations.
Hell, Ed's got more bass in his voice than Lucas does. But anyway.
Well, shit, this is my customer service voice.
I know. What I'm saying is, he sounds like a 10-year-old man playing. Go ahead.
Well, what jumped out to me was the bro card. When he called bro, that's like how that's a default. And it's like, all right, I know you are comfortable around 90% white saturation.
He's got a 323 area code, and that told me exactly all I needed to know.
Okay. Oh, well, see, that's BGS. See, I didn't pick up on that. See, BGS got that.
See, I know exactly what kind of guy you are. You're a local guy. So,
when I hear, and I'm not gonna make you try Lucas, but when I hear you say that's just not my experience with black, I'm like, well, do you have any experiences with?
That's what I would ask.
That's the trick. But then he ran. And by the way, I'm saying this, and I am done.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be an asshole. But let's make it very clear. Anybody in the chat, you hear anybody say that BGS dropped Lucas, correct they ass. Because that is not what happened. Okay. You know good and well the smoke always comes here. And BGS is not known for dropping motherfuckers. Hell, we complain in the chat that he doesn't drop them fast enough. Yeah. So don't let like a big influencer, because he lied. And to be fair to those guys, to anybody that said that, and I'm not even talking about DC because that was already talked about with DC. But Lucas said that he lied. Oh, he dropped me. Bullshit. And so they believed him because, I mean, why would you lie about something like that unless you a whole ass nigga? Well,
nah, I ain't dropping. But
I mean, and I ask yourselves, does BGS actually usually drop people?
No. Well, We had a 4-hour stream after him. So,
Because Lord knows that's one of the things they don't complain about anything. You ain't never heard them say, well, they just be dropping me. You just hear he won't let me talk. But anyway, I'll let Gigi have it. I'm curious what you got to say.
All right. All right.
Okay, so look, I came in at the tail end of the conversation. I don't know what you were talking about for 30 minutes within the context of your stream, but I do know what I heard as soon as I chimed into your stream or I tuned into it. But you know, look, if you want to roll the dice, man, you know, it's like the old rap songs used to say. So you found you a girl and you lied. You found you a chick that you lied. You know, go ahead and hook up, man, but you can't make a hoe a housewife.
Yeah.
You know, and it's and some white women are hoes too. What you think girls going wild is? It ain't like all white women are pure as the driven snow. They getting fucked and rammed in too in college.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well, especially in college. Yeah.
You know, so at the end of the day, you know, my whole point is not to say, you know, don't get married. All I'm saying is if you do, you are rolling the dice because women have established in this country safeguards for themselves. Whereas there are very few safeguards for you.
Yeah, but the thing is, what I don't like is that that whole video was not about vetting. What about vetting? What about vetting a woman or getting married, anything like that? The thing is about our culture. That's what it was about.
Yeah, but I want to address what the guy was talking about in reference to vetting. See, the first thing I don't like the whole concept of vetting because ultimately what vetting that concept in and of itself basically places the onus on the individual who's making the selection and that everything that comes after that is that person's fault if the other person does some shit that's fine or if they break bad. Okay. And look, when you vet anyone, okay, there's incomplete information. You don't know, like you can't assess everything about any person because you just don't know everything that person has done. Okay? I mean, it doesn't matter if you know her family. It doesn't matter if, you know, you've been knowing this chick for all of your life. Like if you got a brother, that motherfucker could be involved in something, or a sister. She can be involved in something that you are not aware of.
Yeah.
Because they can conceal it from you. Okay. And then also, there's something called unpredictable future behavior. You don't know. This is why I always say this. I know this is tongue in cheek, but I've said this. Have you ever tried to sit on the toilet and take a shit and you couldn't? Or have you accidentally, you know, shit on yourself when you thought all you were doing was farting?
Yeah.
And my whole point is, if you can't trust your own ass, who can you trust? I know it sounds crass, okay? My uncle used to say that shit all the time, okay? And, you know, because he's a jokester, okay? He's like a Loki type character or a Brer Rabbit type character, right? He likes to joke and be the life of the party and talk a lot of shit. But ultimately, if you can't trust yourself in your own intimate bodily, you know, functions, how can you determine what somebody else is going to do at a future time? You don't know.
Yeah.
Well, you can put faith in that individual, but it doesn't mean that they're going to act the way that you would like or desire for them to act. Okay. And you got to use your judgment, but your judgment is subjective and it can be, you can err. You're a human being. You understand what I mean? Like your vetting process can be flawed in and of itself, or you can make a mistake in your vetting process. But I mean, ultimately, I think that you have incomplete information about anybody anyway. Okay. Or you can have false people. I thought about, because, you know, I'm in touch with my anima. Okay. So I'm creative. All right. And one of the things that came up to my mind, in my mind today is a concept for a song called Changing Faces. And ultimately, you don't know, like people have a tendency to wear a mask and to present a persona.
Yeah. It's part of your being, a persona. Yeah.
Okay. But like people can wear a false persona in order to conceal what they are really like. And they can do this for a prolonged period of time. Okay. You can do it on your job for years. Like, you don't have to let people know exactly what it is that you're into. You can be into some shit like some BDSM shit and not let anyone know. but that's your like little secret fetish that you have. I mean, I'm not saying I'm into it or anything. I'm just saying you don't know everything about anybody. It's impossible to do so. Okay, but so I mean, like people act like vetting in and of itself is you're responsible for it, and if it goes awry, that somehow you're responsible for shit.
Yeah. And it's not her fault. That normally men say that to take the onus off of the women.
And to me, that's ultimate bullshit. Okay, but notwithstanding that, going back to the issue at hand, when it comes to cultural differences between white women and black women, all I can say is this, and I think that this should be apparent, predicated upon everything that we've discussed and had conversations about thus far. White women put the battery in black women's back.
True.
This is not the other way around if you want to be accurate about it, because who has made the legislation be the way that it is? It hasn't been black women. Like, you think Title IX was because of what black women did? Do you think no fault divorce is related to what black women did? You think employment discrimination laws, reproductive rights, and sexual harassment and violence laws were put into place by black women?
No, they were not.
You think the LGBTQ movement and the gender equality and law that you see today was brought into fruition because of black women? I'm not saying that they didn't have a role to play.
That's why I call it a state-run gynocracy.
But white women are largely responsible for this shit. And I know the key, like if you talk about safety and family law, you're talking about Ellen Pence, Catherine McKinnon, or Andrea Dworkin. If you start talking about no fault divorce and all of this shit, I don't really actually know the names of those people, but I know it wasn't black women who came up with no fault divorce.
No.
So at the end of the day, all I'm saying is, hey, black women have their clean gone ways. They think that they run shit. You know, they actually know that in terms of your positionality, that they can, triangulate white supremacy and use it to stick it to you if they want to. They know this, okay? And they do this. But my whole thing is to argue that white women don't do it is to close your eyes and to not actually see what's actually going on around you. It's to be like, I forget the one guy, Cyrus, I guess his name in the Matrix, where, he's like, put me back in the Matrix.
Cypher. Yeah, Cypher.
Like, look, bro, Jeff Bezos' wife. Now, you talk about a productive, skill-based man.
Yeah.
Who's more so skilled and productive than fucking Jeff Bezos?
True.
Who is?
Oh, Bill Gates.
Their white wives said, "Fuck you," and went on to do something different, and took half of their fucking husband's proceeds or their material, accumulation, and took it on with them.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure that I'm not to say
Tiger Woods' wife
can get his dick sucked by anybody he wants to, because he was rich like that, or Jeff Bezos can do the same thing, okay? But it's something about your wife saying, "Fuck you, I'm divorcing you," and they're the ones initiating it. It's something that stings, okay? Whether you white, you black, you're Hispanic, whatever the case may be, that shit has a tendency to cut you like a knife, all right? Now, ask Jonathan Majors if your white chick can break bad on you and set your ass up. Ask Tiger Woods if your white ass wife won't chase your ass through your own little fucking property with a fucking golf club and break and tear your shit up just like any other black chick would.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Now I'm talking about things that you can fucking point to demonstrate, like, without a shadow of a doubt, yet white women have the potential to do this because they've done it. Okay? Now I'm not saying that you shouldn't get married. If that's what you want to do, man, go ahead and do it. Like, if you want to fucking jump out of an airplane, man, because you get a rush from fucking, parachuting or some shit like that out of airplanes, go ahead and do it. If you get a kick out of fucking, walking tight ropes and shit, go ahead and do it. But understand that there are risks associated with what you're actually doing, and know what the percentage of failure or success is related to the endeavor that you're entering into. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, and everything you said on that clip was accurate. But
and also, all I'm saying is that if you are a man and you're worried about your legacy, and if you're worried about continuing to have relationships with your children, try to push policy, or at least be on the side and be vociferous about your distaste for policies which keep men, whether intentionally or unintentionally, disconnected from their children, and that enable women to, like, use kids as bargaining chips. That shit is not just to me. It's not fair. Okay. So at least try to work towards legislation, or, lobby whatever representative, whatever congressman, whatever fucking senator, mayor, whoever the fuck, whether state or federal, try to work towards, or at least voice your opinion about your distaste for the laws as they are currently reflected. That's all we're saying. Now, if you want to get married, dude, that's you. I'm not into telling people what to do with their lives. I'm not going to say you shouldn't get married. I'm not going to say that. But goddamn, just know the risk that you're taking. That's what, like, Paul Elam used to say all the time. Like, look, I'm not here to tell you to go MGTOW, you know what I'm saying? But if you want to do that, okay, that's cool. You can be a monk, but most men will not be monks. They just will not.
No.
So because most men will not be monks, know what the fuck you're getting into and know how to play the game while you're playing it, bro. But don't just go in with the intention that you're gonna find this keeper ass chick, and then, like, because if you going in like that, boy, if the shit falls like a deck of cards, boy, you're gonna be in a heap of motherfucking pain.
Yeah. You take any place you go, you're gonna take a risk. Got a lot of noise, Grinch.
Yo.
Got a lot of noise, Grinch.
Yo. I got a lot of noise still.
What you get? Were you outside or something? That's all right. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, you done, Gigi?
I just got one. I just got one. Like, what would you say? Disagreement is vetting. And even though you can't predict the future, or anybody could break bad, as a man, you should have measures in place. Of course, don't get married. I mean, that's common sense in today's society. Do not get married if you're a man, unless you want to put yourself in that type of position to get bent over. If you don't want that, don't get married. But you can definitely motherfucking vet who you deal with. And if a bitch break bad, why the fuck, you gotta ask yourself, if it fucks your whole life up and shit, why the fuck would you create your family life, your structure, your life and shit to where a bitch could do? It shouldn't be. Nobody should be able to come into your shit and fuck your shit all the way off unless they murdering you.
Hold on. Nobody said that you shouldn't vet. Okay, we're saying is you know the risk when you enter into anything in the condition.
Oh yeah,
in the environment. That's all we said. So what's the disagreement?
But that's not how y'all sound.
Well, how do we sound?
Let me respond to it, Grinch.
Go ahead.
Let me respond to it. So all I'm saying is, vetting is not a foolproof means by which to get the consequences or the outcomes that you desire in reference to another individual, right?
But nothing's foolproof. What's the point of saying that?
That's all he's saying.
That's
all he's saying.
Don't take what I'm saying and try to add more into it. Of course, you're going to vet people. I don't know anybody who actually fucks with anybody else who doesn't vet them at all. I personally do not know anybody, except for the dumbest, most socially inept individuals, who don't fucking make assessments of other people that they surround themselves with. Now, I know some guys have their nose open, and men and women alike, because some people can be too gullible and trusting. But at the end of the day, and I'm part of organizations where men get vetted. Like, tests get performed to see what type of shit this motherfucker's going to do in X situation, Y, and Z situation. Okay, so I know it's like the military. Like, what is this motherfucker going to do under pressure? Will they crack? Are they going to bind? Like, let's assess and see. So,
for the brothers.
For the brothers,
for the brothers.
Okay.
We have to understand.
Grinch,
we can't sound
Grinch,
negative.
Grinch,
for the brothers, it is possible.
Grinch,
it is possible.
Grinch, slow down for a second, right? Okay. How many ways have taught men actually vet women on this channel alone?
that's neither here or there. I'm not addressing that. What I'm saying is how it's coming off. It sounds defeatist.
Sounds. How does it
That's
sound
how you're
defeatist?
coming off.
Okay, how it sounds is fine. Okay, that's how it's coming off. Look doesn't matter. Okay, well, how come he doesn't comment on my other videos? Okay, where I actually do teach men how to vet. Why is it always a little
And
clip?
and and that and that's great. I'm
No, no,
just
no, no,
telling
no, no,
y'all
no, no,
that's the
no,
whole
no,
reason why I jumped up here
no, no, no,
is to
no.
tell y'all how it sounds.
How it
It
sounds?
don't sound positive.
Everything doesn't have to sound positive.
Yeah, I can
Doesn't
tell
have to
you
sound
this.
Right.
positive.
You
I
know,
can get
we're
Okay.
talking to a group of men who's ruled by their emotions, but we're not going to actually
Yeah,
understand how.
with-
We're going to act like we don't know how black men operate. Come on.
we do now. The thing is, if you're gonna critique me, okay, critique me properly, not that bullshit that you just pulled, okay.
This is not. I'm not trying to give you a
I'm
whole.
not.
I'm
I'm not.
not
I'm
trying to
not talking
read you,
about you.
bruh.
I'm not talking about you, okay. The thing is, I'm critiquing what he put up, okay. That's what we're commenting on. That's it. I don't care how it sounds.
All right, bro. All
I don't
right,
give.
y'all got it.
I don't give a fuck
Y'all
how it
got it.
sounds. Okay.
All right, bro.
so look, I get it. Look, I understand it. I am a skeptic by nature. I'm a fucking philosopher. So I'm skeptical off the tip.
And we're gonna get Kev in a minute. I don't know what about this fucking look. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a fuck about how it looks when they critique me, do they? Do they? But I'm supposed to care about how it looks. I don't give a fuck, right? At this point. The motherfucker that critiqued me took like a 2-minute clip. Nothing about the whole 45 minutes actually did this. Set up the set up the stream, set up the panel. None of that. But I'm actually supposed to be positive. Bullshit. But go ahead, GK, and then we get Kev.
I'm gonna let Kev have the floor, man. I'm just gonna say this, man, and I'll be out. Look, if it doesn't sound positive, it's because, well, shit, the policies don't work positively in your benefit. They just fucking don't. I'm sorry. Like, I thought the red pill philosophy in and of itself was to safeguard men and to lead, to make them aware in a brutal way. Like, in avoidance of any fluff or any kind of, I don't know, like fantasies related to reality. I thought it was about the cold, hard facts and the reality of how the world actually is and what could happen. Okay. Yeah. In game theory, in philosophy, they call it maximin strategy. If you're gonna fucking take a risk, what is the way that you can minimize the risk and maximize, any kind of chance that might, or luck that might accrue in your favor? What can you do to do that? How can you minimize the risk and maximize the chances that you'll be successful in whatever endeavor you're engaging in?
Exactly.
And so I'm rolling with some maxi men shit. That's what I'm about with this. Okay. Now I'm not saying that you can go out there, man, and vet. All I can say is, man, I know guys, man, who at time T1, they had a good ass girl, man. That girl was like there for them. It was like they was lovey-dovey. You know that Todd Terry song, lovey-dovey feeling I got when I'm with you? It was all good. And then, like Jay-Z said, it was all good just a week ago. Or like Nas said, a thug changes, love changes, best friends become strangers. I done seen it happen.
Yeah.
Where motherfuckers like, 10, 15 years into it, that motherfucker ain't the same individual as they were when they first got married. You know what I'm saying? I even got friends today I don't fuck with because, like circumstances just change people and people grow in different directions sometimes. Can happen with your chick. You know what I'm saying? If y'all not really actually friends, you don't have the same values, and you can't force somebody to have the same value system or be on the same page with you. That's all I'm trying to articulate. Now, I would love to see guys be in long-term committed relationships where they don't have to undergo a whole bunch of bullshit. You think I want something to the contrary for guys? I want that for them. But what I want doesn't necessarily mean what's going to actually occur in the real world. I can't wave a magic wand like I'm some sort of fairy godmother and make conditions obtain that aren't real for motherfuckers.
Yeah.
So I haven't said that, man. Y'all be peaceful, man. Have a good Friday, man.
Got anything going later on, Gigi?
Not on the internet tip. I'll be with the short bus Saturday though. I know
Okay.
that.
All right. Okay. Just checking, making sure.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
All right, James, you want to get in?
Yeah, what's up, bitch ass? It's just very disturbing, man. It just seems like with that previous gentleman, he must think we live in a Marvel comic book, um, because the amount of risk that men are taking, and or should I say the fallacy in this illusion that they think there's a safety net. Like, how much more pain? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems like a lot of brothers have Stockholm syndrome. And correct me if I'm wrong, because it's just the reality with it, especially with, we talked about this the other night. Like, the game has changed. This is it's sad, but the truth is, brothers, like, you're not dealing with your 1979 or 1960 woman anymore. You're dealing with the Cardi B's, the gorillas. You know what I'm saying? The ratchets of ratchets. So if you want to roll that dice, by all means, but understand the type of volatility that comes with it.
You have the Vice President of the United States listening to Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion.
Yep. We talk about it. What does that tell you? That would never happen 20 years ago. That would never. There would be no
not even 10 years ago. The closest you had was Michelle Obama and Beyonce. Okay.
Yeah. And just to see brothers like really trying to like no, there's a light at the end. No, like the fact that men have to use all these type of protocols, passwords, security networks for women, that already tells you what time it is.
Even Grinch said the same thing on that clip. You got to find a different pool, okay, to have a chance. That different pool means either a woman that's an immigrant or outside this country, and we've said that.
I totally agree. And this is another thing I'll add on to as well. And I say this to brothers. You see this all the time in America. There are men who take these risks with whether it's massive fortune or little fortune. Go basically end up with the short end of the stick and see the mismanagement of what goes on when that man is no longer around or when the woman moves on.
Hey, stop wilding. Hey, Grinch, stop wilding in my chat, okay?
It's like,
stop wilding in my chat, okay? Chill out, man. But go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying, like, if I don't know how much more pain, you know what I'm saying? You're already going what I think what disturbs me a lot, BGS, especially for black men, is we deal with so much psychological trauma, right? But for some odd reason, when it comes to our sisters, it's like we gotta go, we can fix this. Like, nah, brother, you gotta let that shit broke. That shit been broke, and it's just I don't know.
The thing is, he talked about how it sounds defeatist, but there's nobody around when actually talking about esoteric wisdom, right? Esoteric vetting yourself, esoteric what kind of woman you pick, or how you should actually look at the world, or
You're right.
or the octanes. Nobody came in, did they?
No, they didn't.
Nobody reacted to that, did they?
But this whole nonsense of what it sounds like, and like, this is how I know male society is going down a rabbit hole that is so detrimental to their own mental health. The fact that the gentleman's talking about it sounds like when you get an ass whooping. Yeah, we know what that sounds like, right? When you crying for help, like it's black or white. I just don't understand this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like these consistent fallacies that a lot of brothers are just want to roll this dice with. Like, you don't do that shit in war. You don't do that in business. Like it is what it is.
Yeah. But the thing is, I was trying to tell him, how come he didn't talk about the previous part of the video, where it had nothing to do with vetting a woman?
That's true.
It had zero to do with vetting a woman. Okay, we're talking about a whole entire culture. You're talking about trying to get some pussy, trying to get married. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, that's not what the video was about. Okay, I very seldom do actually what they call Keisha bashing. Okay, for the most part, especially on this channel. Okay, that's the whole thing about the this whole series, man. This Black Pill series. It's not about about individual women for the most part. Okay, it's about a whole culture. It's about feminism. It's about the culture. It's about trauma that we've gone through culturally over 12 generations or 20 generations, which he actually co-signed when he was actually on the panel.
Let me ask you this, BJS. Do you think a lot of brothers confuse or mix? They say they want to get married, but they really just want the pussy.
Um, I think they just want the pussy, but I think they want to be happy, and
Gotcha.
I think that they they want to be happy with them rolling the dice and taking a risk, which is fine.
True.
You know, if you're married, you're happy. You happen to come up with the with the magic bullet, then okay. Um, Even now, with the white divorce is 60% now. Okay,
Oof.
only
Oof.
40% of white people stay married.
Mm.
Okay, the divorce rate for white people is climbing just like everybody else. Like I said, I could go into Medium. In fact, I might do that. Go into Medium and show you all the white women talking shit about their men.
It's crazy.
61% of 61% of white men sitting on their motherfucking hands right now because they said the chicks they have to date are undateable right now,
Yeah.
and that's another pool. Okay, that's
Different
another
social.
pool.
So
It's,
different social
it,
class. Different
it's
social. Yeah.
the whole social environment is all fucked up. Okay,
Real fucked up.
now if you vetting is fine, but that's not what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
V
agree
for
with you.
V. Yeah, V for V. Go ahead.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Man, I definitely agree with everything you're saying, man. I was listening to some SWP earlier, and I think that this whole space that you've opened up, especially for younger generation,
Mm,
exactly what reality needs to be slapped in the face of a lot of men of the younger generation. You beg and you plead for in the spaces that you walk in day to day in your real life. You see the black men that you work with who are older than you and they don't have no fucking guidance for you. You got few people in the white collar side that'll tell you how things are done. And
mm,
then you can come online and spend an hour, 2 hours of your day while you're doing whatever you're doing a workout, cleaning your place, taking care of your family, whatever you're doing, to listen to a group of men like y'all who are generations past who have gone through all the hardships that none of us have gone through, want to act
mm,
like we're the ones who are going through a struggle. And then we get to hear the real of what's actually really going on and how do you say navigate through all these different spaces, and not only navigate but then also understand that some of this shit is not, why are you hitting the roadblocks that you're hitting? Why is everyone else around you uh seemingly unaware to all the things that are going on, whether it be with the relationships or whether it be with your fucking career, whether it be with anything. And that's what I'm glad. That's the only reason I come to this space is because you all tell the truth of whether it's about, I'm there for your esoteric shit. I'm there
yeah.
for your monetary shit. I actually appreciate that stuff far more because all this talk about all these women, I definitely understand why it's still talked about. Because what is it for? What is it that you all have built this space on? Is to talk about the importance, at the end of the day, the importance of what family used to be to the black community, whatever the community is to the people that are talking about it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that is very interesting because, and this not last thing I'll say, but this is the thing I've noticed since I've just recently did air assault and Pathfinder, passed them both, and I was just sitting there, and I'm the only person that looks like me for the most part in the class. There's probably like two or three that went all the way through in Pathfinder, about
Okay.
maybe 10 or 12 that went all the way through in air assault, right?
Mm,
And you seeing these guys now, of course, the cadre that are in these places, people that don't know what cadre are, these are your instructors.
mm,
Imagine you going to a college and these are your professors that are teaching you these subjects. These younger black guys are in there. And I'm not saying that it wasn't anybody else that was getting frustrated, but I had never seen such bitch made shit of people's being so emotional because they're being told what to do of something that's right when they're completely wrong,
mm,
when it's in their face. The absolute delusion. And the reason that I also love listening to this space is I brought that example of, because you're talking to these people, all these guys, you have the patience of a fucking saint. And it's insane to me to think that why would anyone think that the way that you're talking, the tone shit that people are bringing up to you just now, as a matter of fact,
No.
is something that, oh, you're a fucking doomer. You're nothing but failure is in the eyes of what we see for the future, or there's no hope, there's no light, there's no nothing. No, man, it's just fucking reality. How you decide to deal with that is how you will step and go forward. Those who know better fucking do better. He's not
Yeah.
telling you to make certain. I've never heard you say to anybody on any panel, on any video that you've released, you, Ed, SWP, I've never heard any of you say to any of the men that you all talk to through this fucking content that you all put out that this is exactly what you need to do. This is how you need to live your life. This is what you need to be considered a good black man, all these type of things. No, you just basically show what's going on in the world in reality, whether that be through the geopolitical level, the actual political level here at home in our nation, whether you're in America or any other nation, whatever, and how that's going to affect you going down the line as a black man. The tools that you can use to go and find out why it's affecting you, the history behind the decisions made by people in government who are in rulership right now over the majority of the people, and then also where it will be down the line, not specific future events about, oh, this is exactly what's going to happen, but hey, this has happened before in our generations, this could happen to you. I thought it was really, and this is the last thing I'll say, I thought it was really, really, it really hit me. And it was an emotion I felt whenever I was in school listening to you in the parking lot whenever I was parked.
Okay.
Your previous video, I want to say it was like 3 or 4 days ago, when you were talking to a younger guy about what do you think is going to happen with countries and our economic system, right?
Uh-huh.
I thought it was really, really freaking. It was the only time that I ever got a little bit emotional. Like, damn, like it really is doesn't be coming over for America. Not, but it's funny because you end it all with being, whenever you're talking about your economic stuff, you always say, "I hope that doesn't happen."
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't go that way. I hope that things don't get fucking destroyed. I hope the fucking Fed doesn't. But if people actually listen to your content, not just to listen to hate, and actually listen to what you said without personal opinions involved and their own biases, they would hear from months and months of content that you put out that, hey, this is something, we're still the strongest in the country with economics. Things could go this way, things could go left, things could go right. We don't know. We have never, this is unprecedented times. Some of the stuff we can't track back to history and see if it'll all happen the same again. But yeah, I know that was more of a ramble than me just trying to get to a point, but I really do appreciate y'all coming on here every day. I really don't understand the niggas coming on here and trying to talk about this women bullshit and why they so. It sounds like they have an internal struggle within themselves to come to an understanding of either, number one, when I hear stuff like that, is they just struggle with women in general. They not getting no pussy. And then number two, on me, it's like, well, you just so emotional. How do you expect to come on here and not face to face, but online to online with other grown ass men and talk in this emotional way and think you're going to go out there and be that emotional and get the women that you think that you deserve? You don't deserve shit. And I pity these type of people that come on here and be trying to deflect and be trying to move the goalposts, all this type of shit. But that's what I'm going to say. The plane's landed. My bad.
All right. No problem. Kev, you ready?
Yeah, man. I'm almost done with my workout, man. But yeah. Shout out to Grinch. I think the reason why a lot of people say it's defeatist is because it's like, how can I put it like this? The people who need to be preached to about morality aren't the dudes like this in the space. It's the people who are co-signing the fuckery. Those are the people who need to worry about the air quotes, the morality thing. I mean, if you're a brother who's not, doing some fucked up stuff, if you're going to work, being productive, staying on top and whatnot, you don't need to talk to us about morality and doing the right thing. We're already doing it. You need to say that shit to the people that are fuck ups. I think the problem is that I think the sentiment is correct, but I think it's aimed at the wrong crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when it comes to the morality thing, I don't really think you need to preach to us about morality. I think you need to preach that to people that are doing way more to fuck up the so-called community. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think truth is the Grinch's friend who came on to defend the guy. You know, um, I basically you heard what he said. Okay, you heard what he said, and the thing is that they expect the thing is if he wants if truth as I know wants a fair hearing, he needs to actually do the same thing. Give me a fair hearing. And basically, if you want to encourage men to actually vet and get married, give them some tools. Give them some tools. Get into the books, get into the knowledge, and give people tools. Don't just come on here and rant and talk. Actually, get into the step by step how do you vet a woman. I've done it. I've done it countless different ways. I've how to date. How I don't like to get into the dating part or the relationship part for the most part because that's kind of sticky. Even though I can do it. Um, And I have given tools. I've given tools how to vet a woman. I've given tools. I just did one about the Thunderbolt that people wanted to hear about. Okay, Thunderbolts. How to vet a woman. How to vet a woman by class. How to vet a woman uh, 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 by emotion. How to vet a woman according to your needs. All that stuff. But nobody talks about that shit.
Hey man, and if I can interrupt again too.
Go ahead.
So another thing too is, so then also I think besides the fact, so it's a multi-tier problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got black men, no parent, no either no parents or one parent in the household for majority
Mm-hmm.
of black men, right? So
Right.
they're already coming in from the feminine. You've talked about that multiple pieces of your content. If people want to find that out, they can go look it up. Number one. Number two, then you have these men who don't understand what generation they are whenever it comes into their economic status, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are your
Right.
parents broke and they didn't go to college and you're the first one to enter college whenever you get out of high school? Are you
Right.
the first one to go and not have to pay for a funeral for your parents or whatever whenever they pass away, or grandparents whenever they pass away? That's number two. They don't understand the generational step that they're in whenever it comes to, I hate using the word wealth building, but where are you at in the step of building economic success for your generations to go forward? Number three is, does your last name mean anything to you? Are you doing stuff out here every single day because you want to be able to be successful and give pussy? Or are you doing things because you intend on having a family that will be carried on through generations that come after you? Number four is, excuse me. Number four is also black men have the tier problem of what I think you put out multiple videos on already. Understanding not just, like I said, the economic part that you're in, but the octane that you're in. I think that
Yeah.
that is a hard pill to swallow for a lot of
For
young
most
black men.
people.
For
Yeah.
most people in general, not even
Yeah.
young black men, but black men in general, people in
Right.
their 30s, 40s, when they get to the point of realizing that I am this octane, if we're going to use that specific marker,
Mm-hmm.
what octane are you actually? Okay. And like I said in the beginning, you don't deserve anything in this life. Zero. So I'm telling, besides the respect that you may earn from other men and other women and other people that you surround yourself with in whatever space that you find yourself in. But I think a lot of people have an issue. And I think that that should be what gets beat into the head of many people to start understanding individually themselves where they stand, right? Where do I stand in reality within this structure that we find ourselves in here in America? Am I 87 octane? Am I 89 octane? Am I
Yeah.
90 octane? Am I what octane
Yeah.
am I?
Yeah. Yeah. We just saw that. We just saw that with Kiki. Kiki
Exactly.
Palmer and her man. Okay, you're
What I
working class, and
yeah.
she's 100 octane. And it didn't work.
And see, that's the thing that I think that most young men need. Just I think that there's only a certain amount of things, a certain amount of tools that young men will need going forward, because at some point, you know how they say like the light switch clicks in people's minds, right?
Mm-hmm.
You start to see the light switch. A couple of things said to you that you know deep down intrinsically are true will lead you to make the decisions going forward. Or if you don't and you mess up or you fail or you take a L, you will understand why you took those L's, why you hit those failures, why you hit those speed bumps. You need to understand what octane you're in. You need to understand where you're at within the generations of your family whenever it comes to being able to become successful. And then number three, you need to understand how important it is to gain information and knowledge that will only lead you to the goal that you have set before yourself. What is the goal of most of the men in this space whenever it comes to why they continually talk about how important community is, how important marriage is, all these type of things? I think that it's mostly, as SWP says, as you say, at the end of the day, all of these things that most men should be doing everything for, and it goes back in time immemorial, is for power. And if you understand where your power can come from and how to attain that power, that should be the only goal that you should be going for. And I know that's a very broad goal, but
It's a
every
broad
man,
goal, but also to be
yeah,
happy. You know, I think most guys just want to be happy.
yeah, I
You know,
think they just, and I don't
power
understand
secondary,
the
but
whole,
yeah, go ahead.
I don't understand what does, unless you're in absolute derelict poverty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're in absolute, if you have a roof over your head, shoes on your feet, a car to drive, you have someone, at least one person who loves you unconditionally, whether that be your mother, your father, your siblings, a friend of some sort. How are you coming into a space and the main thing on your mind is coming to you first, is trying to judge someone else who's giving out knowledge, has a proven track record over a decade, and then tell them to their face, oh, nah, man, this is just a guy. Because I listened to the guy that you all were explaining about, you and Ed had did the video on, the
Right.
Lucas guy. And he's explaining, oh, like, oh, they just sound like a whole bunch of old heads that don't come on here and complain about black women. That's not the thing. It's not that they're on here complaining about black women. They're trying to explain to young black men who are, because it's not about the minds of you, niggas like you who are over 30, over 40, who are gone. You've already made your decisions. It's about the youth that you trying to get to with the information and knowledge, so they don't make either the same mistakes, or they make sure that they jump over the same potholes that we did, so that they have an easier road ahead. And I don't think that that's what they get, is like they come into space and it's just automatically about women. That's not what it's about.
Yeah, well,
Men are supposed to build communities and gain power. Now, is that hard to do in a structure like this in the United States? Of course. But you've already showed and already explained to us why things are the way they are. I just don't understand, man. Like,
yeah.
it pisses me the fuck off.
Well, the thing is that how do you deconstruct that? High Scholar will tell you that because he's a psychologist. How do you actually change people's worldview? How do you deconstruct this stuff and build them back up? How do you explain the difference between, like I said, like I did the whole thing about male emotional labor. You're an instructor. You're in the military. Okay, there's a
Facts.
different way men actually show love and emotion versus women. Okay, trying to explain that. We're trying to get a book written about that to try to change how they teach little boys in school.
BJ, it's pissing me off. It's pissing me off. OG, like, I can't fucking listen. I can't sit by and let you say this shit, because you have put out days worth of content. I'm talking not hours, days. People can sit and you will never, let's say you never release a video ever again, right? Never again. People can go back and listen to they without stopping, days worth of content on every subject that affects black men here in fucking America. I don't understand why dudes are still coming on here and still have the fucking wherewithal and the cojones. I will give them that. They must have balls to come on here ignorant as fuck to everything in the world, to not have opened a book, to not read, to not listen to the content, just to hate listen, to not understand that you have explained all this shit. Imagine, remember you were saying a couple months back that you were like, oh, this shit's starting to piss me off. I'm tired of coming on here and constantly, you've dealt with trolls before over the years, but like you were like, man, sometimes this shit just gets fucking, I'm done with this shit sometimes. And that's how I be feeling for you. And I'm younger. So I don't understand how these niggas don't understand that shit.
It's selective outrage. I was gonna say it's selective outrage, man. Like it is. What's I'll say this from my assessment when I see cats like Lucas and others, right? They're lazy. They don't want to do no research. They're like females. The first little thing that come up, oh girl, what he say? Like they just hop on anything. You know what I'm saying? And this is where it's the detriment to to the brothers that follow them, because they just take that habit and that thought process as, you know, it's good as gold, versus like, no man, you got to go start from the beginning, listen through all through to the end, take notes, and really process. And we live in a world that, again, I think BJ has always hit this on the nail. Like, people got short-term memories, man. People don't really want to do that work.
They don't. They don't.
Man,
They
you
don't.
said it the other, and like I said it in that other video that you were talking to the other young man in, right?
Mhm.
What is our generation mostly known for? Millennial and below. Just sit. You told us for years and years, decades, all these type of things, right? And I'm not saying I've been listening to you for that long. I've been listening to you since what, senior year of college. I was like 5 years ago.
Okay.
So it's like you were like, it seems like y'all's generations below us are just going to sit down and take it when you were talking to him about it further.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right. And I think that is, to be honest with you, I'm not even going to lie to you, BGS. And this isn't like me being pessimistic. It's just reality, right? I think that is the most true statement that you've said in a. You say a lot of true statements, but I think that I don't know if you know how poignant that point was that you made. You may not realize that you have been just talking about one specific subject whenever it came to us and the political actions that we do not take.
Yeah.
But it's across the board. I'm telling you, as a mid-20s, closer to mid-20s guy, it is across the board with everything. People are socially inept. They can't have social interactions for the most part.
Yeah.
People do not have the wherewithal to pay attention for more than a couple minutes. That attention span is destroyed.
Yeah.
They don't understand how to take, just as women, as hard as you are on women, and as hard as they think the space is on women, and we're Keisha bashing, whatever it is, you're just as hard on young men. And I think that is the if you take any path, and maybe it's because I'm military, so I get to see how the give a fuck for failure is handled. There is no second chances. There is no, oh, you failed this test, we gonna let you come back in. You know what I'm saying? I saw a guy get fucking kicked from a school that he waited. He's been in the military 22 years, got to this school after 22 years because he got sent to this post for the first time.
Wow. Okay.
This was a light colonel. He did not have his highlighter in his packing list. He got fucking kicked.
Wow. Ooh, wow.
E5.
Wow.
For an inspection. That shit is no joke. And I just bring that up. And I'm not saying that as some shock value. I'm just telling you, this is what happens in certain spaces where it's specifically about what do you know? How attentive are you to detail? And taking accountability for every single thing that you do throughout the day.
Yeah.
There is no excuses.
Yeah.
And I think that's the direction that you all need to take. Because that's why I like listening to Ed. Because Ed, as much as, you know, he is very colorful with his language, I think that it is needed. Because these motherfuckers ain't gonna get it. Otherwise, they need to get fucking pimp slapped. I don't understand what they need. What do you need to come through the computer?
And
show them the way.
They had to soften military discipline at least 2, 3, or 4 times, man, because they would kick everybody out of the military if they didn't.
It'd be bone dry.
It'd be bone dry.
My dad, I'm third generation. My dad, you know what my dad would tell me when I used to complain when I first left, because I did the OCS route, fucking I went and worked at a firm for a year, and then I joined the military because my fucking Tricare young adult ran out, and I was like, I don't want to be here for a 2-year non-compete if I end up fucking staying at this fucking firm. So I was like, let me go join the military, see how it is. I'm not taking too much of a fucking pay cut. Let me go see how life is over there. I'm telling you that these people do not. My dad, I used to call my dad and complain, and I used to be like, man, Pops, like, why, you know, I hate this shit, man. Like, why they being so hard? Like, of course, I'm the only black officer in some spaces, just like I was in college too. Only black person in some of these college classrooms. But it's like, you do not understand. My boss will look me dead in my face through the FaceTime and be like, what the fuck are you not cut? My dad doesn't cuss or anything like that. But he'd be like, basically to my face, what the fuck are you complaining for? Do you know what it was like for them in the 80s and 90s? In the early 2000s as a young black man that was in the military? and how they was getting talked to, and how they would, and I had the gall to complain. You got niggas coming up here talking to you about women, and you all were coming off the fucking heels straight up of the 80s and 90s trying to deal with these women, and these niggas think they got problems now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. Like, it don't make no fucking sense to me.
BGS.
Yes, sir.
I told you, you're
What?
wrong, Daddy. I told you, you're wrong, Daddy. That's some of their issues. Man, I don't know if that's what's it called something amazing fruitcakes issue, but that's what some of these issues is.
He's trying to be a pimp, man. He's trying to act like he's a G, and he's not. He's a lame trying to act like a G. That's what I heard when I listened to him. I said, dude, you're a 323 lame, educated lame in Los Angeles, trying to act like a G.
Oh, so that's why.
Yeah.
Why. So because that's that response video was more annoying than him actually being on the panel. I was like,
Yeah,
what is?
yeah. When I saw him flash the call-in number, I said, "But this motherfucker's in Los Angeles, man." I said, you a suburb lame, trying to act like a G. Come on, man, stop. You probably went to private school.
Yeah, because the fakeness was there. Like this dude is so fake. What is he doing?
He's trying to earn some money. That's all. Trying to earn some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got about 30 more minutes, guys, and then I'm gonna jump. So y'all get in, since you guys are up here. And thank you, V, man, for actually expressing that sentiment.
Yeah, hey, and this last thing I said, and I'll hop off to BGS. Like I said, y'all come on here day in and day out. If it's not every day, it's every other day, every week. Keep y'all foots on these niggas' neck, bro. Not just the white dudes talking about what they got going on behind the scenes as they their power structure that we find ourselves in right now, Roman falling, whatever. But on these niggas' necks, bro, because this is what I learned from. I don't know if y'all ever heard of this channel called Chronicles of Judah. I brought him up before.
Yeah.
Chronicles of Judah 144, right?
Mm-hmm.
All this stuff. A lot of these niggas
ain't
gonna come with us. A lot of these people, you all keep saying this is a small space. Only a certain percent of the population of young men or black men in general understand the things that y'all are spouting every single day, putting content out for. A lot of these niggas ain't gonna make it. So I don't give a fuck. Keep y'all on these niggas' neck. Keep telling the truth. Don't let these trolls get to you. Fuck them. And you know what I'm saying? If you ever need a Pathfinder or air assaultman or a motherfucker that can hold an M4 and shoot straight, I'm on here every fucking time.
Okay. Hey, V, I wish I could send them to Ukraine and put them in a trench for like a week and then bring them back.
They don't know. They don't know 300,000 niggas dead over there.
I don't want them to die. Just be in a trench, be uncomfortable, be shot at for like a week.
What is that? What's that cyclical thing they said? Like, oh, wartime makes strong men, in peacetime or pussies or some shit. I don't even know what the cycle is, but it's like it don't make no sense to me, man. Like these people don't know. My dad went in the military with 5 people. He came out with 1.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
After Iraq and Afghanistan, multiple deployments. These niggas don't know, bro.
They don't know, man. They have no clue, man.
No.
They have no clue. But the thing is, they will learn about attention to detail within a week because that keeps you alive.
Facts, man. Or get you kicked out of air assault like a
that's lightweight, man. But the thing is, being uncomfortable, being in the heat of battle for like a week, you'll learn. You come back different.
Bullets flying. I'm telling you.
Bullets
all right.
flying.
See y'all later.
All right. Peace out, V. All right. AB, you got more? And then we're gonna go to Bob, and then
Go ahead.
These
dudes kill me with this SBE bullshit. I noticed he mentioned that in his little spiel, which he was playing earlier. Yeah, you know that chick that got I don't know her name. The one that's being held by Dubai.
Yeah.
It turns out other black women have come out and called her out, shown video of her acting a damn fool in other countries.
In other countries, yeah. So it wasn't the first time. Yeah. She did more than just yell. So
yeah. I don't know what she did in Dubai, but something tells me it's more than yelling.
Look, I speak on this beat. I've been there I've been to Dubai several times, right? To the panel, it is very peaceful, brother. It's to the point where women, when women are there, most of the men in the UAE are going to first acknowledge you as a wife. So the respect in just in that in this just that mantra itself is just like, okay, where's your husband? How are you, madam? Blah 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 blah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So when I heard the story of this woman out and acting irate, I knew she was doing something way over the top.
Mm-hmm.
Because any place you go in the UAE, the customer service is amazing. People are very humble. The only time you'll have a woman or a man be very apprehensive is when you go to the Grand Mosque in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
After that, everything is kosher. You can relax. It's one of those places, like I've said before, I lost my phone. I thought it was my drone was gonna get snatched. Next thing you know, I call back the place, my phone's right there. So it's one I just don't understand where, and it may, you can elaborate, where people just think that this this behavior is, one, is acceptable, two, to automatically think that these, in the Middle East, they automatically are just gonna throw, like, it does not fly like that at all.
Yeah. I figured she did way more than she's supposed to. Okay, Bob, I think you're next, or proud to be simp, either one.
Sorry, I don't know what you guys are talking about. So
it's not really open for just anything. We just talked about if you saw the video earlier about
women in Dubai.
No, not women in Dubai. It's talking about Truth As I Know. It's just one of the video of his. So if you don't know what it is, scroll back. Okay.
Okay.
That's what we're talking about. It's not open. It's not an open AMA.
Got it.
Okay. Pragmatic.
Hey, how you doing, BGS? Yeah, I was able to catch part of it. I had to hop on a call with my boss, but I think and I said this before on one of your panels. I think the issue is that a lot of these guys, they don't understand their audience, and that's one of the first rules of having an argument. You need to know who you're talking to when you're presenting it. When you're trying to present your point of view or you're trying to present information, and they don't understand their audience. And I also think, just from what you said about his background, he kind of lives in this bubble. Take a survey, understand, is this the content that that are you talking to the right people? When he talks about his marriage warriors, or whatever whatever term
a woman warrior,
understand your audience, and understand that this is actually, are you getting your message across? And I think by I understand people want to build their channels, but you get a more solid following if you just you grind it out, you cut your teeth, and you're consistent with your message, and you speak to the people that you need to that actually need to hear what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
That's just my point of view on it.
Yeah, that would be better. But the thing is that I really don't understand what you guys actually want, and why they keep using clips, little small clips of my videos to actually emphasize the point and say that you're doing this and you're being negative and you're not being positive, and how it looks is like you're looking like acting like this is actually defeatism. Okay.
It's the same way how women used to attack Kevin for his tone.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're doing. And I think what it comes down to is that I think, you can be positive. You can be optimistic. People, not you particularly, but people, you can have an optimistic, viewpoint of the world, but you also need to be realistic. And I think a lot of these guys they get so caught up in the hopium and the optimism, and in their small bubbles, that they don't realize that this isn't how the world works. I used to travel a lot for work, and I would go work in Seattle, and I would go work in the complete opposite, which would be I'd go work in Georgia, in Macon, Georgia.
Oh, and it's
well, not even just from excuse me, not even just from a gynocratic perspective, but just Seattle's a very liberal location, and Georgia is a very conservative location. And it's I would hear my coworkers from both locations, and it's like you're both living in a different bubble. And I think for him to be from the Northwest, it's like, all right, maybe there are more women that are marriage material, but at the same time, if your audience is not from that area code or from that zip code, you know, you're talking to people on YouTube from all over the planet.
Yeah.
You know, there's still, I mean, yeah, there's still a chance to find a marriage, you know, you can find a woman to marry in America, but it's like, look, you know, maybe, you know, on average, it's difficult. You know, there's less of them. And I think he just needs to understand his audience. But I think tagging you in videos and coming up with clips, it's not, he's doing himself a disservice. He's doing himself a disservice.
Yeah.
If he's truly about this mission, you know, of finding, you know, marriage warriors and building a community and all these other, you know, these other talking points.
I mean, if you're serious about it, teach it step by step, just like a coach.
Exactly.
You're not. It's not motivational speaking. It's actually coaching.
Yeah.
You actually want to teach step by step. They're not doing that.
BGS.
Yes, sir.
Listen, you know, I'm real quick with my stuff, man. Based from listening over the years, you've done a tremendous job. I have to be honest with you. I think you're insane with some of the things that you have put out. It's quite dangerous, if you ask me. But
dangerous for whom?
for you.
Okay.
For you. But I respect the knowledge that you've dropped. I call you the capstone of the manosphere. Of course, you know what that means. In a nutshell, BGS, and I know you're already thinking this. Fuck them. The hell do we care? Nobody cares. I definitely don't care. Just keep doing what you're doing. I cannot wait I can't wait for the day when you drop the real Gnostic information.
Mm-hmm.
And how they simply said, look, you could take your 40 years, you can read the pyramid scrolls or whatever. This is it. Fuck it. We're done. See you later. The day you do that, I'm going to have a smile. I'm not even going to be on the, I can't even say it. I'm not going to be on the panel, but I'll be in the chat smiling because, man, bro, you and I both know this is, we're going in circles here. How many times are we going to do this? And if we want to go on an esoteric level, which I will with you, you chose to come here to do this, which is the insane part of it.
Yeah, it is. They did.
That's the insane part. That's why when I talk to you and I say, man, you're insane, I know you know what I mean. You actually chose to come here, and you know what I mean when I say come here, to do this.
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
It was part of the mission, man. As a Gnostic, your mission is to give back, you know, what you've learned. And it's part of the mission. And I've kind of overstayed my welcome, but yeah, you know. But there's other things that other people are trying to do that's not attached that are actually helping. You know, I've gotten the space where it needs to go and where it needs to be. So it's now time for other people to actually carry it. But the thing is, they say you need to actually still stay here because we still need.
I'll give you your credit, man. I'll give you your respect. Yes, I remember the Coliseum days. That was insane. A lot of information that was coming that shouldn't have came out. And I remember bringing in Kevin Samuels and what he turned out to be. Some of the greatest people that's on the channels right now came through this whole, let's call it, I can't even find the word right now, but a lot of people came through this,
through this
path, if you will.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah, so I will give you your respect. I'll give you your respect. But, dude, I mean, come on, man. How long, man? What they say?
Not much longer, man. Not much longer. I'm getting old, so not much longer.
All right. Well, I'm gone, man. I'm not going to keep long. I'm gone.
Okay. All right. All right. We got about, I'll go like 10 more minutes if people want to get in real quick. If not, we're going to bounce.
Yeah, I'm out. So I'll catch you later, probably on Arts panel.
Okay.
All right. Peace.
All right. Peace. I guess truth is not listening, you know. So I just wanted to just go over that. I just want to respond to that, and because I don't understand what these guys really want, you know. Even with Grinch, I don't understand what you want. You want us to be cheerleaders, you know, talk about vetting, about coaching. Let's say, but nobody mentions when I actually teach that. Well, I'm talking about this show. Okay, it's not a good look. I don't give a shit. Okay. This is me responding to him. If it's positive, negative, it doesn't matter. It's me responding to him. And that's all I really wanted. So I got people on, give them their say, but the thing is, that's the whole thing. I wanted to give a fair response to him, to truth as I know it. Now he's gotten his response. I hope he can just go on and teach and do whatever he's going to do, whatever he actually wants to put out. You know, give me, I'll say this is truth. Give me something I can actually work with instead of this motivational speak that I'm hearing. Give me something real. I am a structural realist by philosophy. I'm a Gnostic by religion, right? I'm an amoral pragmatist by training. I don't deal in emotion, hopium, motivational speaking. Either it's there or it's not. If I get you as a person, I assess you, what skills you have, what skills that you don't have, and I put you on a path to actually emphasize the skills that you do have. That's my whole job. When I was coaching basketball, it's the same thing. My son can tell you. Okay. He's not 7 feet tall, so I'm not trying to put him in the lane and do hook shots. Okay. Got to teach him to do other stuff. What skills you have, what talents you have, what abilities you have, and how can we maximize that? But I have to be honest by telling you what you can't do. And that's what I do. Now, if you want to go to be motivated, go someplace else. My grandson will tell you. I'm teaching you read, write, and do arithmetic and other little things, right? If you want to be motivated and cheerleaded and all that kind of stuff, that's not always me. I'll congratulate you when you succeed. I'll push you when you don't think you can actually go further. That's my job. I'm a man. That's where we work. This shit about a feminine family building warrior, that doesn't mean anything to me. Any woman can be that if she's the woman that's right for you. The thing is, who are you? What do you do? What do you like? What's your goals? Then you go out and pick a woman that's right for you. Okay? And most guys know within the first 6 weeks whether that woman is wife material or not. 90% of the time, woman that's right for him to be a wife. And then it goes from there. But anyhow, no more B-dub. Okay. All right. You got the last say. You got about 10 minutes.
First and foremost, brother, much appreciation for everything you brought to this space. I missed part of the stream. I'm just now getting off work. But what I did want to say is I actually purchased Neely Fuller's compensatory code book.
Cool. Okay.
And I think this is a recipe for cuckoldry. Have you had a chance to read it? It's hilarious.
I've read it. I've actually met Neely like 3 or 4 times and actually talked to him. He's much funnier in person than what's in the book. His book is there for a certain reason. You got to remember, Neely Fuller wrote that book back in the late 50s, early 60s. That's when he actually wrote the book. Different time period.
Gotcha. So as far as his opinion on this now, has it changed? Because you say you met with him, so I'd imagine you got like some updates from him.
Oh, okay. Number one, white supremacy in America is not what it was in the 50s. We got to remember, he served in the Korean War. So Neely Fuller is about 80, I would say. No, he's older than that. Neely Fuller's like 90. So he's not a young man. And when he wrote the book was a long time ago, when America was a very different place. But the thing is, his thing is how to cope, how to cope with the system that you're in. And you may need it because if affirmative action goes the way that it's going, and black folks get put back at the bottom of the jar, you may need that book. Okay, because they may bring back the stuff that they used to do. So you may need that book. The thing is,
go ahead. My bad.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah. So for all intents and purposes, I have the book in front of me, and I think it might be interesting if I read a couple of parts.
Go read a couple of parts. What problems you have? Go ahead.
Appreciate you, man, because I think everybody's gonna laugh at this, including you.
Why not just read it?
Hold on, it's a big book. I'm getting to the page. I got you.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, one of these parts, he says that we don't deserve any respect. Hold on, let me get to that right quick. Okay. You still got me?
I got you.
All right, brother. So he says on page 319, he says, as a non-white male, whatever you choose to say is a fault of any non-white female, also be willing to say that her fault is your failure. Your failure to do what needs to be done to replace the system of white supremacy with the system of justice. Doesn't that sound like Umar?
Yeah, we got to remember. What did I say? When was it? When was he around?
Late 50s. So that
Late
means
50s.
Umar's on that old software.
And in other words, that's what they preached back then. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then he had another part in here, bro, where he was like, "Hey, if another non-white man fucks your bitch, you got to be cool with it."
Like I said, if number one, okay, what he's trying to tell you, and this is something that that's been said, we've been saying, right? Okay. Back then, when he wrote the book, okay, if a non-white man fucks your woman, okay, got two choices: you can kill him. Well, what's going to happen to you and your kids?
No, I'm not saying the white man. I'm saying your brother. Like if a fellow black man smashes your broad in pursuit of justice, he's saying
Read it.
okay. Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna read
You're
it for you.
you're talking about your mate or your woman as a group.
Your mate, your woman.
Okay, because sometimes he means when he says your woman, he's talking about black women as a group. Okay, is that what he means?
Hold on, let me show you right quick. So on page 320, he says, do not regard mutual and voluntary acts of sexual intercourse and or sexual play by your chosen mate, non-white chosen mate, with a non-white person other than yourself as a reason for anger, argument, alienation, envy, jealousy, possessiveness, retaliation, violence, or other forms of conflict, or as a reason for discontinuation of constructive activity with that person, particularly in regards to speech and or action to end racism. Agree with each other that any acts of intercourse and or sexual play that helps to promote counter racism and or the production of justice is always correct.
And in other words, basically, and when white men do this all the time, right? Because you've seen this what white men do this with their women, right? In other words, marriage and your mate, whatever it is outside of reproduction, is business. Okay, that's where they saw it. That's where he sees it. That's his opinion. Sometimes you can agree or disagree with it, but the thing is, that's where he sees things. Everything is about a business in wartime. So anything beyond that is not productive as he sees it. Agree or disagree, but that's the way he sees things.
Oh
That's the way he
yeah.
saw things back then when he wrote the book.
Oh, absolutely. I just thought it was hilarious that there's a way for you to have sex with a black woman that produces justice. I mean, I thought it produces family court, but hey.
Different times. The thing is, if your woman is on the same accord that you're on, right, and trust and believe, if you get into Hollywood, look at Will and Jada, right? Okay, everything's about business. So him smashing another woman or her smashing another guy doesn't matter. Thing is, when we come together, it's about business and family.
Got you. But
Look,
as you stated,
it's almost like pimp talk, right?
Yeah.
Does a pimp care if some dude smashes his wife if he pays?
Hell no.
Just the way you're looking at things. I'm not saying that you should do it, or if that's not right for you, and some guys aren't. That's not right for. But the thing is, look at the way he's looking at it. Everything about Neely is about business and ending racism. If it moves toward anything that doesn't move you toward that goal, should be discarded. And that's what he
So
felt.
I got another excerpt for you.
You got one more because this is not what the show's about, but we got one more out, and we can actually go talk to the code breakers because that's what they talk about all the time. They're experts on Neely Fuller and in the compensatory code. You want to actually debate them, okay? But go ahead, one more.
I'm a code breaker, bro. I've realized it after reading this book because I'm not about to let my bitch fuck somebody in pursuit.
If that's not he will tell you, okay. These are his suggestions, right? He said you're probably not gonna do them all.
Ah, okay.
He said that. You probably you look at the front of the book. You're probably not going to. Nobody can do everything in that book. The thing is, if you actually want to get to the goal, actually want to end racism and move this thing we call ADOS forward, right? Okay, it's got to be more about business than feeling.
Well, that
And
sounds like that's
if the guy that smashed your woman is going to help you go to the next goal or get to the next step, instead of you trying to kill his ass, you're trying to work with his ass. Go
but,
smash this bitch, okay?
but see, that's that SYCBM because it also kind of goes into the stepfatherhood conversation. He didn't mention this explicitly, but I'm gonna bring up this excerpt. I know this
One
is
more,
the last one.
one more, and then we got to go.
So
Okay.
it says, although all the non-white people of the known universe are equal victims of the system of white supremacy, it is the non-white females of the known universe who, collectively, the abuse is most keenly directed. It is the abuse of non-white females that is generally open and accepted by the greatest number of people, both white and non-white, for the greatest period of time. Sounds like radical feminism to me.
If you're talking about the totality of we got to remember radical feminism didn't exist back in the 1960s. Okay.
Oh, of course not, but primitive stages.
And what I'm saying, the thing is, if you look at the totality of all non-white females across the globe, right? Okay, it'd probably be right. We're
Yeah.
ADOS is different. Okay,
Okay.
he's very precise with his words when he says them.
So he's speaking globally.
Speaking globally. What is white supremacy to him?
Global.
It's global, right? The global domination of white people by on non-white people, right? Who gets raped, who gets abused, who gets taken, who gets subjugated most? After
Now,
they kill off the men, who gets abused and all that kind of stuff? Who procreates the next generation? Be the female. Our black female are actually brought here to procreate. The thing is that we happen to be a special case in this global white supremacy system.
so do you believe that still stands correct today in a global sense? I mean, it seems like the passport bros are having the time of their lives.
Some parts are, because like anything else, right? Will any book, any thought hold up over, like, I think when he wrote it, like it's got to be 70 years, 60 years now, right? Hold up over time, over 60 years, 100%.
Well, that's all I had, bro. I don't want to take up too much time. I
Okay.
appreciate the back and forth.
Well, you know, I'm humoring you, but the thing is, that's not what about. You got to look at the book and the time that he wrote it. He wrote the book in the late 50s, early 60s, right? He printed it in the 70s, and it didn't get popular to the 80s. But the thing is, the book was already 30 years old by then, or 20 years old by then. And the dude's 90 years old. He wrote it when he was started writing it when he was actually in the military in Korea, when he's like in his early 20s. So it's a long time ago. So some parts will still hold up and some parts will. So just like anything else, what do they call it? Chew the meat, spit out the bones. Okay. Some parts will still can still be used. Some parts can't. Chew the meat, spit out the bones.
Now I got one more question for you.
That was your last question.
No, it's for you. Where's your book at, bro? I want to read your book. Now here's
it's end of the year.
Okay. Good.
All right. All right. All right, you guys, I'm out. I said no more B-dub, totally out of context with interpretation of the book. To me, that nonsense alone is being off code. If you're gonna read Neely Fuller, read him in the appropriate context. Well, you know what? Like I said, if he really wants to have a discussion about Neely Fuller, I'm not an expert in Neely Fuller. There would be Paradox in DC. You know, they know him better than I do, and they've read his book more extensively. They're a better guide to it than I can be. I've given my interpretation. If I'm wrong, he can say so. You know, but I've met the guy. I think I know what he means when I've read the book, And it's not like anything else, man. Just some parts will adapt to different environments, some parts won't. That's all I can say. Anyhow, you got the Code Breakers link. Paradox, drop your link, man. I gave you a wrench. Before I go, drop your link to your channel. In fact, you guys don't talk. In fact, Paradox, you guys don't talk enough about Neely Fuller. So it's probably a good intro to actually go back to the book and talk about him and do a refresh. Pretty accurate. Okay. Okay. I mean, that's my interpretation. I mean, I've met Neely about 3 times, and he's explained what the book is about. He's explained his what's not in the book about his book, and some people rock with it 100%. Some people don't. Even the publishers, they rock with some things they don't. But actually, that's any author. But things read it in the context of what it's written in and the time that he's writing it in. Okay, it's not written in the 21st century. Was in the Bible and you read in context when it was written. That is true. People should, but they don't. Even Jews say you should read the Bible within context of when it was written. Anyhow, y'all, let me get out of here and go get something to eat. So I will see you guys maybe later if Art's on or tomorrow on the Coliseum. Anyhow, peace. Oh, you're driving. Okay, I'll find it. Let me find it. Let me find it real quick. Y'all making me work today, Paradox. We scroll down and find it really fast. Let's see, Code Breakers. Where are we? There you guys are. And there's the link. Copy, paste. There's the link to the Code Breakers. All right. Yeah, I do eat, man. I do have to eat. As an old man, I probably don't eat enough. That's probably why sometimes I get loopy. I found out I got to eat before I actually do the show. Anyhow, y'all, I'm out.